The void between stars held many secrets, but Commander Rhine Talia never expected to find one quite like this. Her exploration vessel, the Horizon Seeker, drifted through the darkness of uncharted space, its sensors sweeping the emptiness for any sign of the mysterious energy signature that had drawn her attention 3 days ago. Rhine absently touched the scarred side of her face, a habit she'd developed after the incident that had left her serving on deep space solo missions. The neural implant beneath her skin hummed softly, processing the vast array of sensor data streaming through her ship's systems. Something was out there, something that didn't match any known signatures in her database. Contact bearing 347 Mark II, her ship's AI announced. Energy signature matches the anomaly we've been tracking. Rhine leaned forward in her captain's chair, her cybernetically enhanced eye zooming in on the main view screen. There, barely visible against the backdrop of space, was a vessel unlike any she'd encountered in her 15 years of exploration. Its hull seemed to ripple like liquid metal, reflecting the distant starlight in mesmerizing patterns. "Life signs?" she asked, already preparing the Horizon Seeker's rescue protocols. "One, but it's unusual. The bioreadings don't match any known species in our database." That got her attention. The Terran Alliance had encountered dozens of alien species since achieving faster-than-light travel, and their database was comprehensive. An unknown species could mean first contact, or danger. As she maneuvered closer, she could see the damage to the alien vessel. Its beautiful hull was marred by what appeared to be weapons fire, and a large section near what she assumed was the engine housing had been completely torn away. Attempting standard greeting broadcasts on all frequencies, she reported to her ship's log. No response. Initiating emergency docking procedures. The Horizon Seeker's docking arm extended smoothly, creating a pressurized seal with the damaged vessel. Rhine checked her environmental suit one last time, making sure her weapons were easily accessible. First contact situations were delicate enough without adding the complications of a rescue operation. As she crossed into the alien ship, her neural implant struggled to process the strange architecture. Everything seemed to flow organically, with no sharp angles or obvious mechanical components. The atmosphere was breathable but had an unusual crystalline quality that made her HUD flicker. She found the survivor in what appeared to be the ship's control center. At first, she thought she was looking at a piece of living crystal. The being before her was humanoid in basic shape, but its body was composed of translucent, faceted surfaces that pulsed with inner light. It lay motionless on the floor, its crystalline form darkened in what Rhine's sensors indicated was some kind of stasis mode. "Hello?" she said softly, knowing her suit would translate her words into a variety of frequencies. "I'm Commander Rhine Talia of the Terran Alliance. I'm here to help." The crystalline being stirred, its surface brightening slightly. A voice echoed in her mind, bypassing her suit's communications entirely. "Help, yes. Danger follows." Rhine's neural implant tingled as the alien consciousness touched her mind. "I'm going to get you to my ship. Can you move?" "Damaged, but functional. I am Vesper. My people, the Luminari, we were not ready for what we found out here." As Rhine helped Vesper to their feet, her sensors detected new contacts appearing at the edge of her range. Large ships, moving fast and with purpose. "We need to go. Now." She supported the crystalline being as they made their way back to the docking tube. "Whatever's chasing you, I think they just found us. They must not take me." Vesper's mental voice was urgent. "What I carry, what I know, it would change everything." Rhine's cybernetic eye picked up multiple weapon signatures powering up on the approaching vessels. She'd seen enough combat to know they weren't here for a friendly chat. As they reached the Horizon Seeker, Rhine's mind was already plotting escape vectors. She hadn't survived this long by asking questions when her instincts screamed danger. Whatever Vesper was running from, whatever secrets they carried, it would have to wait until they were safe. Hold on, she warned as she disengaged the docking tube. This is going to get interesting. Your species. Vesper's mental voice held a note of curiosity despite their dire situation. You are not what we expected. Yeah, Rhine smiled grimly as she engaged the engines. We get that a lot. The void between stars held many secrets. As Commander Rhine Talia prepared to face whatever came next, she couldn't help but think she'd just stumbled upon one of the biggest. And somehow, she knew her life would never be the same. The Horizon Seeker's engines screamed as Rhine pushed them well past their recommended limits. Behind them, 3 massive warships carved burning paths through space, their weapon systems charging for another volley. Your ship's capabilities are impressive, Vesper observed from the co-pilot seat, their crystalline form pulsing with what Rhine was beginning to recognize as anxiety. But they are gaining. Rhine's neural implant processed tactical data faster than any natural human could, plotting and discarding escape routes as quickly as the pursuing ships closed them off. Those aren't standard drives they're using. Some kind of quantum displacement technology? Yes, Vesper's mental voice carried a weight of guilt. Technology they stole from my people. From me. Another blast of energy passed dangerously close to their port side, causing the shields to flare brilliant blue. Rhine's cybernetic eye tracked the energy signature, her mind already calculating possibilities. That's why they want you, she said, executing a tight spiral maneuver that bought them precious seconds. You're not just a refugee. You're a scientist. We thought we could trust them, Vesper's inner light dimmed slightly. The Drachnid Collective promised peaceful cooperation, technological exchange. Instead, the ship rocked as a glancing hit disrupted their shield harmonics. Warning lights flashed across Rhine's neural interface, suggesting their current course of action was rapidly becoming unsuitable for continued survival. Save the explanation for when we're not about to be atomized, Rhine interrupted, her hands dancing across the controls. I need to know if you can interface with my ship's systems. Your people's tech is clearly more advanced than ours. Maybe we can. Yes, Vesper's form brightened with understanding. But such a connection would require tremendous trust. You would be giving me access to everything. Rhine smiled grimly, her scarred face reflected in Vesper's crystalline surface. Pretty sure we're past the trust falls stage. Do it. Vesper extended a crystalline tendril toward the ship's main console. Where it touched, the metal seemed to ripple and flow, forming new patterns that Rhine's neural implant struggled to process. The ship's lights flickered as alien algorithms merged with human technology. Remarkable, Vesper's mental voice held notes of surprise and admiration. Your neural augmentation, it's primitive compared to our technology, but the way you've integrated it, the creativity of the design. Less admiring, more escaping, Rhine suggested as another blast rocked the ship. But she understood Vesper's fascination. Humanity had taken neural interface technology in directions no other species had considered, prioritizing adaptability over pure efficiency. The hybrid systems came online just as the pursuing ships moved to bracket them. Rhine felt the difference immediately. The Horizon Seeker responded to her commands with impossible speed, its systems enhanced by luminary quantum processing. Now this is more like it, she grinned, executing a maneuver that should have torn the ship apart. Instead, they slipped through space like a dream, dancing between enemy fire as if it were standing still. The neural connection goes both ways, Vesper warned. I can see your memories, feel your pain, the incident that gave you those scars. Focus on the now, Rhine snapped, but without real anger. She'd made her peace with the past. The explosion that had cost her an eye and half her face had also given her a new purpose, even if it meant exile to the frontier of known space. Together, they wove an impossible path through the void. Human intuition and determination combined with luminary technology created something entirely new. The pursuing ships fell behind, their superior drives useless against prey they couldn't predict. When they finally dropped out of faster-than-light travel hours later, both Rhine and Vesper were exhausted. The crystalline being carefully disconnected from the ship's systems, leaving behind modifications that made Rhine's engineer's heart sing with possibilities. That was different, Rhine said finally, running diagnostics on the enhanced systems. I've never felt so connected to the ship. Even with my implants. Your species has great potential, Vesper observed. You solve problems in ways we would never consider. The Drachnid thought humans primitive when they first encountered your colonies. That is why they underestimate you. Yeah, we get that a lot, Rhine repeated her earlier words, but this time with pride rather than grim humor. So, want to tell me what was so important they sent a battle fleet to retrieve you? Vesper's crystalline form shifted, creating patterns that somehow conveyed deep concern. What I discovered, it changes everything we thought we knew about the galaxy. About life itself. The Drachnid would use it to ensure their dominance over all other species. And now? Now, Vesper's mental voice held a new warmth. I think perhaps I have found allies who will use it more wisely. If you are willing to help. Rhine leaned back in her captain's chair, considering. Her mission had been simple exploration, charting the unknown regions. But sometimes the greatest discoveries weren't new worlds or phenomena, but the connections made in the vast darkness between stars. Well, she said finally, I did just let you rewire my ship. Might as well hear what else you've got planned. As Vesper began to explain, Rhine realized that sometimes trust wasn't about knowing everything. Sometimes it was about recognizing something in another being that resonated with your own heart, even if that heart belonged to a human and that being was made of living crystal. The asteroid field stretched before them like a graveyard of shattered worlds. Rhine guided the Horizon Seeker through the debris with practiced ease, her neural implant working in harmony with Vesper's modifications to predict the most stable path forward. So let me get this straight, she said, processing what Vesper had just revealed. You discovered that consciousness itself can be quantified? Mapped like some kind of cosmic radiation? More than mapped, Vesper's mental voice held excitement despite their exhaustion. Consciousness is fundamental to the universe, like gravity or light. My research proved that all sentient species generate unique patterns in the quantum field. These patterns can be enhanced, combined. Weaponized, Rhine finished grimly, understanding now why the Drachnid wanted this knowledge so badly. They could use it to control other species, couldn't they? Or elevate them, Vesper countered. Imagine sharing consciousness across species barriers, truly understanding each other's perspectives. The potential for advancement. A proximity alert cut through their discussion. Rhine's cybernetic eye zoomed in on a cluster of asteroids ahead, detecting unnatural movement patterns. We've got company, she announced, already adjusting their course. Multiple signatures. They're trying to box us in. Drachnid hunter-killer drones, Vesper confirmed, their crystalline form dimming slightly. They track quantum disturbances. My presence here is like a beacon. The first drone emerged from behind an asteroid, its organic-looking hull bristling with weapons. More followed, moving with the cold precision of machines unburdened by flesh or fear. Good thing we've got a few tricks they haven't seen, Rhine said, her hands steady on the controls. Ready to show them what human ingenuity and luminary tech can do together? Vesper extended their connection to the ship's systems once more, but this time Rhine was prepared for the merge. Her neural implant adapted to the alien presence, creating new pathways that shouldn't have been possible. The Horizon Seeker hummed with power as human and luminary consciousness worked in perfect sync. The drones attacked in coordinated waves, their energy weapons turning nearby asteroids into clouds of superheated plasma. But where before such an assault would have been overwhelming, now Rhine saw the patterns with crystal clarity. Each drone's movement telegraphed the next, their quantum-based targeting systems creating ripples in space that her enhanced perception could track. They're predictable, she realized, executing a series of maneuvers that scattered the first wave. Too perfect, too logical. No creativity. Yes. Vesper's excitement bled through their connection. This is what my people never understood about humans. You thrive on imperfection, find strength in adaptation rather than optimization. Together they danced through the asteroid field, using the very debris the drones had created as cover and weapons. Rhine's combat experience combined with Vesper's understanding of quantum mechanics allowed them to turn their hunter's perfection against them. Where the drones expected logical responses, they got human intuition enhanced by luminary processing power. One by one, the hunter-killers fell to their own crossfire or crashed into asteroids they hadn't predicted could be moved by precisely calculated energy pulses. The few that attempted to retreat were caught in gravitational eddies created by the Horizon Seeker's modified engines. When the last drone disappeared in a flash of quantum energy, Rhine sagged in her chair, the neural connection taking its toll. That was intense. I've never experienced anything like it. The merger of our consciousness created something new, Vesper observed, their form pulsing with what might have been pride. This is what I was trying to prove. Different species working together can achieve things neither could alone. And that's exactly what the Drachnid fear, isn't it? Rhine's cybernetic eye tracked phantom data patterns that lingered in space. They don't want cooperation. They want dominance. They believe strength comes from purity, from perfect control, Vesper agreed. But you humans, you embrace chaos, seek out connection despite your differences. Your neural implants are proof of this. Instead of trying to perfect your natural abilities, you found ways to enhance them while maintaining your essential humanity. Rhine touched the scarred side of her face, feeling the subtle hum of the technology that had saved her life and given her new purpose. We adapt. It's what we do. Some say it's our greatest strength. It is why you must help me protect this discovery. Vesper's mental voice took on new urgency. The Drachnid will not stop hunting us. Even now, they gather their fleet. But there is a place, a facility where my research began. If we can reach it, we might find a way to prevent them from ever abusing this power. Let me guess, Rhine smiled wryly. It's somewhere incredibly dangerous and well-guarded? Naturally. Good, she began plotting a course through the asteroid field. I was worried this might get boring. As they navigated away from the battlefield they'd created, Rhine reflected on how quickly her simple exploration mission had evolved into something far more significant. The connection she shared with Vesper had shown her possibilities she'd never imagined, and the scientists' research might well change the course of galactic civilization. But first, they had to survive long enough to see it happen. The nebula ahead of them churned with electromagnetic storms, its brilliant colors masking deadly radiation that could tear apart unshielded ships. Rhine studied the sensor readings with her cybernetic eye, watching patterns emerge in the chaos. Your research facility is in there, she asked, not bothering to hide her skepticism. Through all that? Beneath it, Vesper corrected, their crystalline form reflecting the nebula's colors in hypnotic patterns. The storms provide natural protection against detection. The Luminari built the facility around a quantum anomaly we discovered there. Warning signals flashed across Rhine's neural interface. The Horizon Seeker's enhanced sensors had detected multiple ships entering the system. Well, looks like we're out of options. The Drachnid brought their entire battle fleet this time. They know where we're going, Vesper's mental voice carried notes of resignation. They've accessed enough of my research to understand its importance. Commander. Rhine, we don't have to do this. The risk is too great. Little late for second thoughts, Rhine began powering up the ship's modified systems, feeling them hum with combined human and luminary technology. Besides, I've never been good at backing down from a challenge. The first shots from the Drachnid fleet lit up space behind them as Rhine guided the Horizon Seeker into the nebula's outer layers. Energy weapons dissipated in the electromagnetic storms, creating beautiful but lethal displays of physics gone wild. The storms will affect our systems too, Vesper warned, extending their connection deeper into the ship. Even with our combined technology, navigation will be extremely difficult. Good thing I'm not planning to navigate. Rhine's scarred face broke into a fierce grin. I'm planning to improvise. She threw the Horizon Seeker into a spiral that would have torn apart an unmodified vessel. The ship's quantum-enhanced hull vibrated but held as they plunged deeper into the nebula. Behind them, the Drachnid fleet split into smaller groups, trying to predict their course. Your people really built a facility in this? Rhine asked as she dodged another electromagnetic surge that their sensors barely detected in time. Seems unnecessarily dramatic. The quantum anomaly made it necessary, Vesper explained, helping stabilize their systems against the nebula's effects. It generates fields similar to these storms naturally. We simply adapted our technology to danger. A Drachnid cruiser emerged from the storms directly ahead, its organic-looking hull crackling with absorbed energy. Rhine reacted instinctively, diving down relative to the enemy ship's position. The maneuver brought them dangerously close to a particularly dense storm front. That's impossible, Vesper's mental voice held genuine shock. They shouldn't be able to predict our position in these conditions. Unless they're not predicting, Rhine's cybernetic eye caught something in the sensor data. They're hurting us. Using the storms themselves to force us where they want us to go. The realization came with a new threat. More Drachnid ships appeared, their positions creating a deadly maze of energy weapons and electromagnetic disturbances. Each possible escape route led deeper into the nebula, but not necessarily toward their goal. We need options. Rhine's fingers flew across the controls, her neural implant struggling to process the overwhelming sensory input. What else can your quantum consciousness theory do besides create fancy mental connections? There's an aspect of my research I haven't shared, Vesper admitted reluctantly. The quantum fields generated by consciousness can influence probability itself under certain conditions. But attempting to manipulate such forces here, in these storms, could either save us or tear us apart at the quantum level? Rhine finished. Perfect. Let's do it. You don't understand. Even if we succeed, the process would change us. The merger of our consciousness would become permanent. You would never be fully human again. Another Drachnid ship appeared, its weapons charging. The Horizon Seeker's modified shields wouldn't survive another direct hit. Rhine thought about her life before this mission, the loneliness of deep space exploration, the way her cybernetic enhancements had already set her apart from other humans. Humanity is about more than pure biology, she said firmly. It's about choice, adaptation, the willingness to take risks to protect what matters. I choose this. The connection between them deepened beyond anything they'd experienced before. Rhine felt her consciousness expanding, merging with Vesper's crystalline clarity while maintaining her human intuition and determination. The quantum fields around them became visible to her enhanced perception, probability itself taking shape like streams of light in the nebula's chaos. Through their combined awareness, they saw the path, not just to safety, but to victory. The Drachnid had calculated every logical route, but they couldn't predict what two beings acting as one might attempt. Especially when one of those beings was human enough to try the impossible. Ready to show them what consciousness can really do. Rhine's voice carried echoes of Vesper's mental harmonics now, their merger creating something entirely new. Together, Vesper agreed, their shared existence humming with possibility. Let's rewrite some laws of physics. The Horizon Seeker dove into the heart of the storm, where quantum probability danced with human courage, and the next chapter of their journey began to unfold. The facility hung suspended in the eye of the quantum storm, its crystalline architecture pulsing with inner light. Through their merged consciousness, Rhine and Vesper perceived it not just with eyes or sensors, but as ripples in the fabric of reality itself. "Beautiful," Rhine whispered, her voice carrying harmonics that hadn't existed before their fusion. The Horizon Seeker responded to their combined will, threading through probability fields that would have torn ordinary ships apart. The Drachnid follow, Vesper's thoughts merged seamlessly with Rhine's own. Their ships are failing in the storm, but their desperation makes them reckless. They could feel the enemy fleets approach, dozens of massive warships pushing through the quantum turbulence through sheer force of will. The organic technology of the Drachnid vessels was adapting, learning from each failure, becoming more dangerous by the moment. "Then we'd better hurry," Rhine guided their ship toward the facility's main docking port. "What exactly are we looking for?" The quantum core, images flowed between their shared consciousness. "It contains the original anomaly that led to my discoveries. If we can reach it before the Drachnid." The facility's defenses activated as they approached, ancient luminary technology recognizing Vesper's quantum signature. But there was something wrong. The patterns were distorted, corrupted. "They've already been here," Rhine realized, their enhanced perception detecting signs of forced entry. "They found a way in through the storms." "No," Vesper's horror resonated through their bond. "They'll destroy everything trying to control it." The quantum core was never meant to be harnessed, only studied. The consequences. A massive explosion rocked the facility's lower levels. Emergency containment fields flickered and failed as quantum energy began leaking into normal space. The Drachnid fleet had arrived, their weapons firing indiscriminately at both the facility and the Horizon Seeker. "We're not giving up," Rhine's determination flowed through their merged consciousness, strengthening their bond. "Your people built this place to study consciousness itself. Let's show them what consciousness can really do." They docked the Horizon Seeker amid a hail of enemy fire, their combined abilities allowing them to predict and avoid every shot. Inside the facility, they moved as one being, Rhine's human form now glowing with hints of Vesper's crystalline energy. The corridors were a battlefield. Drachnid soldiers in biomechanical battle suits fought against the facility's automated defenses, while quantum breaches threatened to tear reality itself apart. But to Rhine and Vesper's merged perception, it was all part of a larger pattern, one they could influence. The core chamber, Rhine spoke their shared thought as they approached the facility's heart. "They haven't breached it yet. But they will," Vesper's knowledge flowed through them. "The quantum energy they've released is destabilizing everything. Even if we stop them, the reaction may be beyond control." They fought their way forward, using their unique abilities in perfect symphony. Rhine's combat experience merged with Vesper's understanding of quantum mechanics, allowing them to move through probability itself. Where Drachnid soldiers expected resistance, they found empty corridors. Where they prepared for ambush, they faced attacks from impossible angles. The core chamber doors were a twisted mass of metal and energy, warped by the Drachnid's attempts to breach them. Beyond, they could sense the quantum anomaly pulsing with raw power. And surrounding it, an elite team of Drachnid scientists worked frantically to contain and control forces they couldn't possibly understand. All this for power, Rhine's voice carried Vesper's sadness. They never understood. Consciousness isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be shared, to grow, to evolve. Then let's show them. Their merged consciousness expanded, touching the quantum fields that filled the chamber. Let them feel what true connection means. The Drachnid turned as they entered, weapons raised. But Rhine and Vesper were no longer entirely physical beings. Their merged consciousness reached out, touching the quantum fields that connected all sentient life. Through their shared perception, they opened a window into understanding. For one brief, eternal moment, every being in the chamber experienced true connection. The Drachnid felt the joy of shared consciousness, the beauty of differences working in harmony rather than conflict. They saw through human eyes and luminary senses, understanding at last what their quest for dominance had nearly destroyed. The quantum core pulsed, responding to the unprecedented fusion of consciousness around it. But instead of the catastrophic collapse they'd feared, something new emerged. The facility itself began to transform, its crystalline architecture resonating with the combined mental energies of all present. It was never about controlling consciousness. Rhine and Vesper spoke as one, their merged form glowing with inner light. It was about letting it evolve naturally, allowing connections to form across the boundaries of species and space. The Drachnid weapons lowered, their organic technology responding to the shifted perspectives of their users. The quantum breaches began to seal themselves as the facility's true purpose was finally realized, not as a place of study or control, but as a nexus for understanding between all sentient beings. Hours later, as representatives from the Terran Alliance and the Luminary Council arrived to help stabilize the situation, Rhine and Vesper stood at the Horizon Seeker's viewport. Their merged consciousness had forever changed them, creating something entirely new, a bridge between species that proved cooperation was stronger than control. What now? They asked themselves, their dual nature having become comfortable and natural. The answer came not in words but in shared understanding. They would explore this new frontier together, showing the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength lay not in technology or force, but in its endless capacity to adapt, to connect, and to grow beyond its own limitations. The quantum storms continued to swirl around the facility, but now they seemed less like barriers and more like bridges waiting to be crossed. In the merged consciousness of a human explorer and a crystalline scientist, the future held infinite possibilities. And somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, new connections waited to be forged.